Welcome to the 2022 Best of the Year list. A list comprised of many films, not just the top 10, most of the ones that I rated an 8 or higher, so movies I would consider to be great. There's a bunch of movies on this list because I watched a bunch of movies this year, so let's just get into it quickly and as fast as possible and ASAP. All Quiet on the Western Front is a movie about World War I, and possibly one of the most depressing, discouraging, and disgusting World War I movies I've seen in a long time. It's mostly about the tale of two parties, generals and warriors. But no, it seriously is about the higher-ups in the army and the grunts, and how the higher-ups frequently see the grunts as ones and zeros fighting other ones and zeros for the better or worse of the state and people. And man, is it sad. It's gruesome, it's graphic, it's violent, it's long, and it does a great job of making you get attached to the characters and then murdering them all. If you would have told me that Top Gun Maverick would have been this good, I would have said, get the fuck out of here. No way, not a chance. The sequel to a not very good movie where Tom Cruise plays the least Tom Cruise role of his career? Nah, get the fuck out of here. No chance. I would like Miles Teller in a movie? Get the fuck out of here. No. Not a chance this is good, dude. And it looks like they're passing the torch, and you got the kid rooster of Goose. No way this is... Yeah, no, it's awesome. There's not a whole lot more to say other than story's great. Characters are really well done. There's relatable struggles. There's fun character moments. Jennifer Connelly is there. Tom Cruise is in love with her for some reason. Okay, the fighting is fantastic. The sound design is fantastic. The music is fantastic. The third act is such a high point, I can't even believe it. It's a great movie, and seeing it in IMAX was special. If you got to see it in theaters, good on you, because this is a movie.
Bullseye, holy shit!
What's fun about Decision to Leave is that it's almost literally a fire and ice love story. It is a fire and ice love story, but with an Asian spin on it. Instead of fire and ice, it's mountain and water, which I actually kind of like more, I'm going to be honest. And by my background here, you can tell that I'm a water type. And what that means in the context of this movie is that you kind of hide yourself under the surface, under this beautiful mirage. You hide yourself, you have this beautiful veneer to show to the world, and then underneath, in the depths, is vague and murky, and you don't really know who they are. And then the mountain is exactly what you think it is. It's this big, imposing figure. Everything's there on the surface to look at, and it's huge. And you can scale it, though. It's a great little metaphor for our main two characters who are in this weird detective and suspect romance that works way better than it should have. And not just because Chan-wook Park is a great director, because he is, and not because this movie is edited perfectly, because it is, but because their dynamic is something so unique and interesting. And I haven't really seen something like this before. I love the little touches of he's paying attention to her. He's not only staking her out at her house, but he notices little things about her. And dude, in a love story, when you have characters noticing little things about them, my heart explodes. Where I go, okay, I'm good. Multiple times. Okay, I'm good. Just little things like he's sitting on this little terrace and he goes, she smokes before dinner and she falls asleep on her couch. And I was like, okay, I'm good. We've got a real story on our hands. And then the third act is absolutely disgusting and devastating. And that's Chan Wook Park, baby.
우리 일을 그렇게 말하지 말아요.
우리 일 무슨 일?
Something in the Dirt was a movie I saw at Sundance, and unfortunately only got around to seeing once, but man, it had a great effect on me, because here it is. I think this is a really fun movie, and it's a really inspirational movie in a lot of ways, too, because it is a movie about making movies, and oh, dude, you make a movie about making movies? And I fold like a lawn chair. But this movie makes the most of it. It's just two guys in an apartment, and they are trying to discover what's going on with their closet. They think there's a ghost in there, and then they think it's some kind of weird alien thing, and then they think it's some kind of mathematical thing, and they just keep trying to figure this out, and then they realize, we should make a documentary about this, and we can walk around LA and on our apartment and figure out what these weird symbols mean, and what's going on here or there, and they make a movie about the movie. Turns out they call their documentary Something in the Dirt. And then it starts to get really fourth wall breaking and meta, where it blurs the lines between fiction and reality. They call it Something in the Dirt, and then they start recreating scenes from the movie for their documentary, and it gets really weird. So I loved it. I think everybody should watch this. I think it's a great movie for up-and-coming directors or writers. It's inspirational in that way. So check it out.
I am Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Maybe, I don't know for sure, because I really don't care enough to look or check, but it may be the movie I saw the most in 2022. I saw it alone. Every kid in the theater loved it, and so did their soccer moms. I took a date to it to the theaters. She loved it. I went and watched it 3 times within 2 weeks with all of my friends, and they all loved it, except for one, because he's a hater. And you know who you are, and it's fine, because Puss in Boots loves all and accepts all, and he'll accept you when you come around, because I know you will, because this is a great movie. Puss in Boots 2, The Last Wish, or whatever the title is the best animated movie of 2022, and it's the same year that Pinocchio from Guillermo del Toro came out. And that's saying something, because that's a very good movie, too. This is the best animated movie of the year, not just because the animation is fantastic, not just because the cast is fantastic, and not just because the story is fantastic, but because it has an emotional center that really grounds it. That's the ultimate thing here. The emotional center of this movie, the Puss in Boots story, with Kitty Softpaws, Wood, Goldilocks, and the 3 bears, they are the heart of the movie in some ways, too. Everybody is dealing with things, and it makes it very human in a weird and roundabout way with these fairy tale creatures. It feels like a very human story about loss, about despair, about mortality, about just real issues, family bonding, feeling out of place. Just a lot of human problems that this movie's dealing with, and it deals with them in a great and relatable way. I loved this movie. I think it's fantastic, and I will continue to keep watching it. It's just one of those movies that, for me, you can just put on and everybody will enjoy it. But also, it's one that you can watch with like a hawk for all the details and love, and you can just put on in the background and have a good time around it. It's a great movie for every situation. Check it out.
Hey, Giant, pray for mercy from Push him back! Hey, you want to see something cool?
Bones and All is a movie about love. It's a movie about outcasts finding love. Outcasts that just so happen to be cannibals that can also smell other cannibals. It's a weird movie from Luca Guadagnino, famous for Call Me By Your Name and Suspiria. This is a movie that is very strange, but it's gorgeous, shot on film. It looks great. The locations are great. The romance between Timothée Chalamet and what's her name, main character, who I'm forgetting her name, not a great look for me. Her mom ran out of her. She checked herself into a psychiatric home. Her dad ran out on her because he couldn't take her being a cannibal anymore. She's never had a stable relationship. And so the whole movie is her just drifting and trying to figure out who she is and where she belongs. And it's a very human story in that way, even though it's about cannibals. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching her journey as she stumbles in between pieces of her life. Because we all do that. It's a coming-of-age story. We've all been there. We all want to figure out who we are. We all stumble around and fall over and figure that this isn't what it's meant to be, or this is what it's meant to be, and then turns out it's not. And we meet people who want the best interest for us, and then some that don't. It's just a nice little life story with cannibals as the little cherry on top, and film. It's shot on film. Hooray! It looks so nice.
Vilified, crucified in the human frame. You want it darker. We kill the flame.
Maybe love will set you free.
The Northman. That's what this movie is. It's Testosterone the movie, and I had a blast. Maybe because I'm a man, but I don't know. I think it is just a great movie anyway. The music, snubbed at the Oscars. The cinematography, snubbed at the Oscars. The direction, snubbed at the Oscars. But it's just so much fun. Fun, fun, fun. It's the Mad Max Fury Road of 2022. The Whale. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is another movie that pulled on my heartstrings. It really did. It pulled on my heartstrings. Maybe that's just who I am now. Maybe I'm just a guy that's vulnerable, because this, like many other movies this year, was very depressing, and it hit me in my feels harder than any other movie this year. I came out of this movie sobbing. Not just crying a little bit, not just like a little piece of tear coming out. No, I was crying. There's so many people that are shitting on it, and I just don't care. I think this movie is great. The filmmaking alone is great. Darren Aronofsky manages to pull so much out of such a claustrophobic environment and make it feel like a claustrophobic environment without it being too constricting, and that's a tall task to achieve, and he does it perfectly. It's a great looking movie, and Brendan Fraser, hello, amazing. But I just loved all the subtlety in it too. The things that really make it click is how subtle a lot of it is. There's a room in Brendan Fraser's house that he seems like he physically just can't enter, and not just because he has a walker and it doesn't fit, or the key is missing and he can't reach the key on the floor, so he can't unlock it. So there's that, but he seems like he just can't get in that room because he hasn't come to grips with himself or his traumatic experiences with his partner dying. He hasn't come to grips with that, and he is constantly overeating because of his partner's death. It's so well done. I mean, that stuff is so perfectly done without it drawing any attention to itself. And that's so difficult to pull stuff like that off. Why is he overeating? Oh, because of his partner's death. Oh, every tiny thing that makes him feel insecure makes him overeat. Oh, anytime somebody sees him and goes, ugh, boom, overeating. Anytime he thinks of his partner, boom, overeating. And it's all about honesty and truth at the end of the day. It's just about these characters coming to grips with their reality as it is and being honest with themselves about that reality. And ouch, it hurts.
Think about that. Think about the truth of your argument. You're an amazing person, Ellie. I couldn't ask for a more incredible daughter.
Are you actually trying to parent me right now?
Who would want me to be a part of their life?
I think that almost everything this movie does is perfection, and I loved the dynamic of the main two characters. And that's really all it needed to achieve, is that these two characters be relatable, be human, and be understandable. That's the most important part about this movie, is that you understand why they're doing the things they're doing at the time they're doing the things they're doing. One has fallen out of love with the other, in a sense. They're best friends, or at least they used to be, and then one realizes his own mortality and says, you know what? I need to move on with my life. I need to figure my life out, and I want to leave a mark. I'm getting old. I might be dying in the next 10 years. I need to not be wasting my time with someone who's younger than me and doesn't value the life like I do. And it's an understandable thing. Okay, I get it. I get you want to leave this guy because this guy is a time suck. Okay, I get it. And then you go, okay, but Colin Farrell, he just wants to be nice. He's the nice guy. And he feels devastated that one of his best friends, who he talks to every single day, is just abandoning him. Oh, dude, my heart hurts for that guy. But then you go, yeah, but, you know, he's a time suck, so what do you do? And then it just escalates, and it escalates, and it escalates until things get out of hand. And that's just how the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And I think it's great. Check it out, HBO Max, now, today.
Are you rowing?
I didn't think we were rowing.
Well, you are rowing. Well, you are rowing. He's sitting outside in his own like a whatchamacallit.
It does look like we're rowing. I suppose I best go talk to him, so see what all this is fecking about.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is a wildly good movie. And it's one that came completely out of nowhere. Who would have thought the guys that made Swiss Army Man would make something so clever, ingenious, and brilliantly orchestrated? Not me, dude. It's one of those rare movies where they throw the kitchen sink at it and somehow it works. The performances are all great. Michelle Yeoh, get it. Ki Kwan, can't remember his name fully, but I think that's it. Ki Kwan, get it. And their daughter, whose name I'm forgetting, the actress, but get it. Great performances here by all three of those people, plus all the other ones. Fantastic action sequences, too. Dude, some of the best of the year. Not only does it have great acting and great action, and it makes multiverses good, but it has a heart with this family. It's a family drama, and for a lot of it, it's like an indie drama. And somehow, it works. I don't even understand it, but it hit me in those heartstrings multiple times. Near the ending, I was like, wow. This is actually incredibly emotional and heartfelt, and it made me want to be a better person. That's so corny to say, but it's true. I came out of this movie, and I was ready to repair relationships. That's how effective this was. Is the best movie of 2022. And I really flipped up and down and sideways about whether I should make this or Everything Everywhere All at Once the best movie of 2022. But it's Tar. And honestly, it was kind of obvious that it was Tar, because this movie is genuinely perfect. I think, yes, there are a couple little things here and there, like putting the Blair Witch sounds in this was weird and not a great idea. But man, is the writing ingenious. Slow as shit, yes. Slow as shit. It's not for everybody. It's really not for very many people at all. Because who wants to sit down and watch Cate Blanchett be a lesbian conductor for 2.5 hours and it feels like not much is happening? Not many people, I'm going to be honest. But, man, I'm glad that I was the one that sat down in that theater and watched it. Because, really, on a first watch, if you miss a beat, see ya. This movie will leave you in its dust. You will be so confused by the end. Why is this happening? Who is this? What does this mean? If you miss a couple lines of dialogue, there are things that don't make sense. It's one of those movies where the writing is so perfectly orchestrated. It feels like they're not setting anything up, and yet they're setting everything up with every line of dialogue and every piece of action. This is a movie's movie. Again, another movie's movie, but it really is. It's just a quiet movie that subtly sets everything up. You get everything you need to know about the main characters and their struggle and what's going to happen by the end in the first 10 minutes. I'm not joking either. If you pay attention to every single line of dialogue, it all comes back. I can't believe it. I can't believe how perfectly written this movie is. It's a genius level script. And you add in Cate Blanchett getting the Oscar for this movie because she's so great. It's otherworldly. It really is. And it's a movie where people just talk in rooms. And it's the best movie of the year.
What do you think, Max?
You play really well. But nowadays, white male cis composers, just not my thing.
Don't be so eager to be offended. The narcissism of small differences leads to the most boring conformity.
So that does it. That's the best movies of 2022. It took me a long time to get this out because 2022 was a weird year, but it had a lot of great movies, man. And I'm glad that I checked out a lot of movies because, man, there's a lot of great stuff. And Tar is the best. It rises to the top, and it will be a classic for ever and ever and ever. Okay, bye.